In this video, we will be discussing about the accounting treatment of disposal of subsidiary. So first of all, there might be two cases. Number one is when after disposal of subsidiary, the case would become control to control. That means that we have a subsidiary having 80% shares, and after disposing of some shares, still we have the controlling interest in that company. So that means our control is intact, or control is being there. And another scenario might be that there is a subsidiary, but we have sold enough number of shares that it becomes a non-subsidiary company. And that is a case of control to non-control. So we have to consider the accounting treatment of control to control, as well as the accounting treatment of control to non-control. In the case of control to non-control, it might be a scenario like, uh, first of all, it was a subsidiary, and now after disposal, it becomes an associate company. That means initially we have a 80% shares in that company, and now after disposing of some shares, now we have 40% shares. Another scenario, another scenario might be that we have a 80% share in subsidiary, and now it becomes a normal investment. That is, it becomes a simple investment under IFRS 9. So we have 80% shares, and we have disposed of 70% shares. And now the remaining interest is reflecting the simple investment that we have to account for under IFRS 9. And the third scenario might be that it's a case of complete disposal, where we have sold all of the shares that we have acquired. For example, we have a 80% subsidiary, and now there is no percentage of shares held in that company. Now, as far as the accounting treatment of concern, so when we have to deal with the situation of non-control, control to non-control, so remember that in this situation, we will always calculate the gain or loss on disposal of subsidiary. This is a major calculation that we have to perform, that is gain or loss on disposal of subsidiary. And if there is any gain or loss on disposal of subsidiary, then the accounting treatment is, it is to be charged in profit and loss account. Or if you are preparing balance sheet directly, then you have to show it in retained earnings section. In order to calculate this gain or loss on disposal, following pro forma is to be used, that is sale proceed of the investment disposed of, and you will add fair value of retained investment. If you have any investment retained, then the fair value of that investment is to be added up, and then you have to deduct the unimpaired goodwill of that subsidiary. Remember that when we dispose of any subsidiary, we have to de-recognize all its assets and liabilities, including goodwill and NCI. So after that, we have to dispose of the net asset at disposal date. Disposal date net assets you have to eliminate, and then the non-controlling interest at disposal date. This is to be added back. So this value would be either gain on disposal of subsidiary or loss on disposal of subsidiary. The tricky thing is that you have to calculate the net assets at the disposal date, whether it's a case of a mid-year disposal or year-end disposal, and similarly the non-controlling interest at disposal date, which might be a fair value exercise or it might be a proportionate method. So in this case, if there is any gain or loss, it is to be reported directly in profit and loss account. But as far as the other scenario is concerned, in this case, you don't need to de-recognize any asset or liability, or don't need to compute any gain or loss on disposal of asset. What you have to do is simply you have to adjust one thing, that is, for example, we have acquired a subsidiary of 80% shares and NCI was 20% in that. Now we have sold 20% shares, so we have 60% shares, and now the NCI is having 40% shares. So that means the parent company sold 20% shares to NCI. It's a transaction between parent and NCI, and both are the shareholders of the group. So technically, it's a transaction between shareholders. And whenever there is any transaction between shareholders, you cannot recognize any gain or loss. Now, how to adjust that what we have sold? So, for example, we have sold 20% shares at a price of 200,000. So we have to identify that how much NCI value is increased. We have to calculate 20% increase in NCI, and assuming NCI is increased by 180,000, then we have to book an entry that shows how much cash is received, that is 1,80,000 on the debit side. NCI is being increased, so NCI is cash is debit by 200,000, NCI is credit by 1,80,000. If there is any difference between the cash received or the value of the NCI, then it is to be recognized in reserves. You can also transfer it in retained earning. So this is basically an adjustment that we have to make whenever there is a case of control to control. Simply you have to record the cash received and you have to increase NCI, and the balancing figure would always be a reserve item. It might be a debit item or it might be a credit item.